Hello, Garrett here with Partzilla.com, and today I'm going to teach you how to replace the front brake pads and rotor on a 2004 to 2018 Honda CRF450R. It's not a tough job. I just need to remove the front wheel, snatch off the old rotor, pop in the new pads, and we're on the trails again. So let me go grab a few tools and we can get started. Okay, we have a simple job today, so I'm only going to rate it as a skill level 1. Now, let's go over the tools you'll need for the job. You'll need a ratchet, a 22mm and a 10mm socket, a 5mm Allen, some type of punch tool with a soft blow hammer, a 10mm wrench, a micrometer, a flat blade screwdriver, an 18mm Allen, and lastly, a torque wrench. Now, as far as the parts go, come check us out at Partzilla.com. There, we have exploded diagrams that'll give you an up-close and detailed point of view of how everything comes apart, and more importantly, how it all goes back together. So, get your parts and tools together, and let's turn some wrenches. The first thing we're going to do is actually push our caliper in. So we're going to grab the back side of the rotor with part of our hand, and then take our thumbs on the caliper itself, and then push it forward to relieve the pressure off the rotor. That's going to make the wheel a lot easier to get off. Now we'll go ahead and jack the motorcycle up a little bit just so that the front tire is barely off the ground. Now we're going to loosen the 4 10mm bolts that actually pinch the axle. We don't need to remove these completely, we just need to loosen them. Now it's time to loosen our axle nut. Now, using a rubber mallet, we'll just tap the axle through. Now, this one's wanting to be a little stubborn to get out, so I'm going to take me a punch. If you notice, on the inside of the bolt, there's a hole there. Just stick my punch in and knock the axle through. Then the wheel will just roll right out. Okay, now that we have the front wheel off, let's grab a mic and measure the thickness of the front brake rotor. We've got our mic in place, so I'm just going to thread it down until it makes contact with the rotor and see where we're at. And right there. We're at 2mm. That's definitely below the service limit that Honda requires. Honda states that it should be at least 2.5mm, and we're just shy over 2. So we're definitely going to replace this rotor. And the rotor is held in place with 6 10mm nuts and bolts. And the rotor should lift right off. We'll take our old rotor and replace it with our new one and put it in the exact same orientation. And now we're going to torque our bolts to 12 foot-pounds. Now that we have our new rotor installed, let's put our wheel back in place. And before we slide our axle back in place, I'm just going to put a light coat of grease on the axle. It's going to make it easier to put in place. Using an 18mm Allen and a 22mm socket, now it's time to torque our axle back down to 65 foot-pounds. Now it's time for the last step, to install the brake pads. Now, using our flathead screwdriver, we'll remove our pad pin plug. With a 5mm Allen, we'll remove the pad pin. And the pads will fall right out. All right, we'll take our new brake pads and slide them in with the notch facing up. Now with our second one. And then install our pad pin. And torque our pad pin down to 13 foot-pounds. Then reinstall our pad pin plug. Now, we'll torque our 2 pinch bolts down on the right fork to 15 foot-pounds. Before I tighten the left pinch bolts, I'm going to pump the front brakes to get pressure and pump the forks a few times. That way it'll help line up the axle. Now let's torque our left side bolts to 15 foot-pounds as well. Well, okay, that wraps this brake job up. Routine maintenance like this is going to keep you on the trails longer, and doing it yourself means more money in the bank. So, for the parts used in this project and more, come check us out at Partzilla.com and we can get you taken care of. If you have any questions or comments, leave them in the section below and I'll do my best to answer them. Just want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.